So thank you all for joining me today on this webinar for 6 Steps to a Worry-Free Service Manager 2016 migration. My name is Brett Moffat. I'm a solutions architect for Cireson based here in Australia for the Asia Pacific region. And we'll be going through a whole bunch of things around System Center Service Manager 2016. And yeah, let's get straight on with it. All right, first of all, some housekeeping around what we're actually doing here. Post any questions you've got to the GoToWebinar panel there, and we'll answer those as we go along. If we're unable to answer any of those questions, I'll follow up with you afterwards with an email. As I said, this will be recorded, and this recording is going to be placed up onto vimeo.com/teamcireson in the next day or two. So if you do miss it, or if there's something you want to be able to go back and review, you can go back and have a look at that. I also encourage you to go up there and have a look at all the other really cool videos that are up there. Lots of really good technical resources up there for people there as well. Now, today's agenda. We'll be making some announcements around Service Manager 2016 and what Cireson has been up to. Also, what's new then in Service Manager 2016. A question as to why we should migrate or just upgrade. Then 6 steps to a worry-free migration, how to actually go through that migration process from start to finish. What migration services are available to customers out there. The service management lifecycle and the management app that goes along with that. And then we'll finish up with a roadmap of what's coming up next in the not too distant future, and then of course questions and answers at the end. For those of you that don't know Cireson or just being introduced to Cireson, Cireson was born in 2012 and was founded on a simple and powerful idea to be forward thinkers of all things Microsoft Cloud and System Center. Today, our values from the beginning remain the same. Keep it genuine, do the right thing, and listen to our customers. As a world leader in Microsoft Cloud and System Center, our mission is to make your working life ridiculously more productive by bringing services and asset management together. And that's the Cireson platform. Taking pride in our expertise, we proudly boast some of the brightest and most fanatical IT professionals in the industry. From the Cireson platform to consulting services and community engagements, everything we do is designed to push technical brilliance forward. And this application that we're going to be looking at today is a result of exactly that sort of ethos and thinking about our products and the industry that we're in. Cireson have also, some of the announcements that we've got here, Cireson was awarded to the Inc. 5000 group in the US. So we were the 167th fastest growing company in the US this year. We're in the top 10 software companies and top 6 San Diego companies. We're also reported in the San Diego Business Journal recently as the 13th fastest growing company. We also got a mention in the CIO review as as one of the 20 most promising enterprise asset management solutions providers for 2016. And very recently, we achieved the Microsoft SAM Gold competency for software asset management. So some very cool new announcements coming out there from Cireson and how we're moving forward in 2016. So exciting stuff. Some other announcements that you may or may not have heard of is that we have now released a community version of our self-service portal. It's now free for users to be able to download. It is only a self-service portal. It's not a full version of the portal. But it does come with an integrated HTML knowledge base, so it replaces the out-of-the-box rich text KB articles out of Service Manager, and to give customers the really rich experience that they're expecting out of easy-to-read KB articles. We also provide in the free version out-of-the-box dashboards. So these are dashboards that we've created that are the most popular dashboards out there. However, they're not able to be edited like they are in the full version. From version 6 of the portal onwards, we now have an adaptive display. So the portal will look brilliant on any device. So if you go to a smaller device, a handheld device, a tablet or a phone, the same website will change the way it looks and feels and interacts. So you will actually get the best experience regardless of what device you're on. Other popular features include a whole raft of different items here. That we really do step away from the free portal that comes with System Center Service Manager. It was originally released in 2012, update rollup 8, but also going forward into 2016 as well. So being able to now compete and have this with for free as a replacement for the out-of-the-box Microsoft portal, people can now use that to maximize their investment that they're getting out of Service Manager 2016. So Service Manager 2016 was released a few weeks ago, and I'm not sure how many of you have had a look at it or had a play with it, but in short, Service Manager 2016 will allow us to upgrade from 2012 to 2016 if we want to. But the question, I guess, that I want to be able to answer for you is, why should I bother going to 2016? What do I get by going to 2016? Well, the biggest one, performance. Work item creation and update is anywhere up to 10 times faster in tests that were carried out. Workflow processing is 1.5 times faster than in 2012. Group and queue calculations are twice as fast. WI capacity, so work item capacity, being able to create these, being able to create 45 a minute in less than half a second each, which is very cool. And the biggest one, of course, is the console performance. So config manager connector running 67% faster, a lot faster with the AD. ECL grooming is three times faster than before, which will give us a huge performance boost there as well. And in using it, definitely console page load times, we're seeing about twice the speed that we were before, which is, for anyone that's used the console and uses it on a regular basis, is one of the biggest gripes that we've had over the years. Also, data warehouse. The biggest thing that they've added with data warehouse is date dimensions have been added to the data warehouse. So if you've ever used cubes in the past and tried to slice it via date times, you were never able to. Why this was never added to the 2012, we'll never know. But hey, we're there now, so this is a good thing. The self-service portal, of course, is HTML5 in 2016, but as we said in the last slide, we're not really interested. For those that don't want to run with the Cireson portal, you can run the self-service portal from Microsoft. However, it is missing the features that we did describe in the last slide there as well. Connector performance is a really big one. That AD connector performance and the config manager connector performance being much faster really does come down to that ECL grooming and the ability to actually turn off ECL logging entirely. So for those of you that don't know, ECL logging is the entity change log that appears. So if you know Service Manager and you go into one of the forms, you've got a history tab, and that history tab shows you when that entity has changed in the past, who changed it, what the value changed from and to. For large environments specifically around Configuration Manager, you would have that come in and run every single day and update, say, the last inventory date, or when was the last time this item was updated. Will change the date. Now, if you've got that set to fairly aggressively because you want to keep on top of your software asset management or something like that, and maybe you've got it every hour, you're recording 24 records against every single item inside your CMDB every day without actually touching the system itself. So there is an awful lot of information that's being put in there for not much benefit. Now, some people do use that information to run workflows or some sort of automation task to actually trigger off when something has been seen. So you've got to consider that before turning it off. But by turning this off, you get a lot of that bloat that you have in your CMDB can go away. So that's just a simple registry key that can be put in place to really improve, first of all, the performance of the connectors, but also to reduce the bloat around our database over time, which is very cool. And a whole bunch of other less exciting stuff that we won't go into here today. So, question for people, why migrate? Why not do an upgrade? Microsoft have put a lot of effort into making sure that we can upgrade because it was something that, you know, was met with a lot of, I won't say hostility, but negative press around things like Configuration Manager when we had to go from 2007 to 2012, and it was a side-by-side migration rather than just an upgrade. So they've put a lot of effort into Service Manager to allow people to upgrade their environments. And if that's what you want to do, absolutely, that feature is there to be able to do. But why would we want a fresh start? Well, recycling these opportunities don't come up that often to be able to maybe upgrade our base OS or our database software. So if you originally installed Service Manager 2012 back on Server 2008, and now your company is running Server 2012 R2 and are looking to put in Server 2016, this is a perfect opportunity to be able to upgrade that OS and even the SQL up to SQL 2016 now as well, and be able to jump over into a new type environment. Some of the other ones, lessons learned through past deployments. So the way the environment was installed, how the infrastructure was put together, where it was put, server names, those sorts of things. We get that opportunity to be able to undo the mistakes of the past, if you will. Legacy processes and legacy patches that exist on side systems. Anyone that's been around the Microsoft world for any time knows that as you patch, as you upgrade, as you get hot fixes that have been rolled out and rolled back and put back in again, lots of files are hanging around in our operating system, making those processes a lot slower and what our environment actually looks like. So being able to clean out your environment is a lot better way of doing it as well. All right, so there is a lot of reasons that you may want to consider doing a fresh start from one environment to another. So how would we go about that without it taking us a huge amount of time? So we've come up with 6 steps to a worry-free migration here, and we'll have a look at those sort of steps that we think that need to be put in place and how much time that's really going to take. So the number one is the setup of a fresh Service Manager 2016 environment. So this might be a couple of management servers, new SQL server, maybe a new orchestrator server if you're having that inside your environment there as well. Depending on your templates, somewhere between 4 and 8 hours. It'll take you to be able to set that up. Nothing fancy, no needing to configure it at this stage. Set up new environments, so basic configurations to match the desired properties of the existing environment, so enumeration lists, connectors, those sorts of things that you're going to put inside that environment to then plug it in. About another 6 hours, a couple of days to be able to really go through and make sure that all of that looks the same as what you've currently got in your current environment. Backing up your current environment, of course. We always advise that people back up their current environments. You'd be surprised the number of people that don't back up their environments, believing that the normal system backup would be enough to be able to get them back up or rely on VMware or virtualization platform of choice to be able to snapshot their environments. while these are good solutions, there is a backup solution specifically inside Service Manager to be able to recover from a disaster scenario. So definitely worth being able to do that as well. Then it's a case of having to, step 4 is really around that migration of the work items that you've currently got open. So to make sure that your business continues from one environment to another, being able to migrate those active work items and get it up and running and then pass over to the new environment is absolutely critical. So manually, we looked at, if we were going to go out and do this for someone, we'd look at somewhere between 40 and 80 hours, depending on the size of the environment, just to be able to drag that information over. However, we do have that green area there that's saying automated in less than 8 hours. So we're going to have a look at a new app that Cireson have released to automate that process, to take out a lot of the guesswork, all of the guesswork, and really streamline the way that we do that to be able to do it a much faster way. And then, of course, we test a new environment, verify the data and all those sorts of things, user acceptance testing before we go into into production. And then last but not least is to re-migrate any of the last pieces that were just created over the last 8 hours or a couple of days or however it's long since we did the last migration. So that way we're absolutely up to date when we go live with the new system. So migration services, the Cireson's services team and our partners are here to help you to be able to do this. So what we and our partners offer is upgrade services, migration services, and of course pre and post migration health checks inside your environment. Now that's both for 2012 and for 2016 as well. So the question is, why would you need our help? Why not just do this yourself? Well, this is what we do day in, day out. Us and our premium partners just live and breathe this technology all day, every day. Nobody has more experience than the Cireson services team or our premium partners. We have the tools to get it done quickly, accurately, and at lower cost than other people as well. If you're like most administrators, you have a million other things to be doing, and migrating to a brand new system is not on the list of things that you would much rather be doing. So that's where the Service Manager Lifecycle app comes into play here. So what is a lifecycle? An application's transition or a process's transition from dev to test to prod is what we talk about when we talk about that life cycle with inside Service Manager. So you go into dev and you have a bit of a play around and test a few ideas. You develop an idea. You want to be able to take that into your test environment and see how it's going to play with everything else, and then take it into a production type environment. Now, there's a lot of steps that usually happens with that. So you've got to copy settings, management packs, DLLs, those sorts of things from one to the other, and you want to be able to copy some work items to be able to test with as well. That can be quite challenging, especially when you've got a lot of moving parts to the solution you're putting together. So that's why we've come up with the Lifecycle Management App. So this app allows us to export our entire environment and then re-import it into a targeted environment, and we can either target specific items or exclude specific items depending on what we want to do with our environment. It gives us that real snapshot of a current known configuration environment, and really promotes that consistency and standardization between our dev, test, and our prod. So quite often our test environment and our prod environment won't quite look the same because we upgraded prod or we upgraded test and the versions were different, or we had a different DLL in one or the other, or a different type of management pack, or we didn't have that type of service request. So being able to come from production and take a snapshot backwards into our test environment or even to our dev environment, to be able to make our test environment as accurate, as close to prod as possible, is really, really powerful with getting accurate testing. So, and to be able to copy those work items in as well. So most of us will have either a dev or a lab environment there somewhere, and it's brilliant, it's got everything in there, and it's got 3 work items in it, because who's actually sitting there creating and tuning through hundreds of work items into a lab type environment? So being able to copy those work items in as well to actually see how they react with our developments is really key as well. Copying additional items like runbook IDs, enumerations stored in system management packs and related objects, really cool there as well. So lots of things that we can actually copy over and see things like SLOs, for example. So SLOs aren't actually stored in management packs, they're actually stored in the database. So you can't just export those and re-import them into a new environment like you could, for example, enumeration lists that might be in a particular management pack. So SLOs you can't. Our Lifecycle Management App actually goes into the database, extracts those out into a form that we can actually consume and then re-imports them at the other end. All right, demonstration and discussion of, let's actually see this thing in action here. So I'm going to jump out and jump into my lab. So here's my Service Manager 2012 environment. As you can see, got a bunch of software assets, got a bunch of hardware assets that appear in here as well. Nice and simple. We'll keep this demonstration as simple as possible. Let's just do management packs, for example. So if we come in here to our management packs, my nice slow environment in 2012. Okay, and we have a look. I've installed all the Cireson management packs inside this environment here as well. Now, where's my 2016 environment? Okay, running on server 2016 with SQL 2016 running in the background on another server as well. So nice and modern setup, which is awesome. Here's our Service Manager console. Come on, demo gods, don't fail me now. Here we go. Okay, so if we have a look at the management packs that we've got loaded in here, and we have a look at the Cireson ones, there is none. So work items, same again, no work items that exist inside this environment at this point. So if we jump over to back to our our 2012 environment here, here's the Lifecycle Management App here. We can run this up just simple enough to be able to type in localhost, got to spell correctly, and our targeted new server is Service Manager 2016, and we get a choice of what it is that we want to copy over here. So work items, configuration items, management packs. Hey, let's go management packs. We'll take those in. We get some other performance or migration behavior options here as well, so we can multi-thread this, and that basically takes over the entire server and actually pounds the daylights out of it. If you're going to do this during work hours, I suggest you turn that off. If you're doing it outside or in a maintenance window, then yeah, absolutely leave that on. It's going to make it a lot faster there as well. Lots of different ways to be able to target exactly what it is that we're after, and then be able to log here as well. So we'll turn all these on for now, but we won't actually run through them all because it will take a little while to be able to run through. So different content options for management packs, files and settings here. We can import sealed non-Microsoft management packs, turn these on and off, copy DLLs to the target server and so forth. What it won't do is upgrade those DLLs to the latest .NET framework that you will need for 2016. So if you do have custom DLLs, they will need to be manually brought along. this product isn't a method to be able to take away all the pain of migration, but it does probably 90% for most people, 99% for the majority. If you don't have too many customizations inside your environment, then it'll do the majority of what it is that you need to as part of migration. Now again, we can turn on and off certain things. We can copy the SESM setting items, so the settings are all set up the same way in our new environment. Work items, I can copy all active work items only, so to bring over only those that are currently open and active inside our environment, or I can bring all the items over that are in the Service Manager library. Now, one of the questions that we had when we did this webinar in the US, one of the other questions was, does this bring over data out of the data warehouse? No, it does not. There's a couple of reasons for that. The main one is the new data app that we've got coming down the line, the ability to be able to extend the service management database to do reporting may very well remove the need for people to have a data warehouse if they don't want it inside their environment. It also is a fairly large task to be able to bring that across. So for people that do want to maintain their data warehouse from 2012, we suggest that they just maintain that as a separate database. But because as you migrate over, there'll be nothing new going into it. It'll just be a new database. It'll be an existing database that will sit there, and you'll just be able to extend your reporting across back into the old database there as well. So as you can see, we can copy all of the work item types: incidents, service requests, change requests, problems, and release records. And we can turn on or off different settings as we need them here as well. Content options. So we can copy all of these configuration items as we need to. So for example, Cireson asset items, or we can limit them to a particular class ID or class type. And we can get it to stop or find issues as they come up, so we're not doing any damage as we go along. It tells us what we're actually going to do, and we're going to begin that migration. So for this demonstration, let's just copy these management packs, and actually I might turn off multi-threading because I don't know what that'll do with GoToWebinar running here as well. All right, yep, we'll leave those on. Let's begin the migration. And away we go. And it is as simple as that, and we're off and away. That this should be able to validate the license information. Come on. Right. Oh dear. My license has failed here. So what we've got here is the license that we've actually provided. This word last night. Is the ability to, if you don't have, for a temporary license, we'll actually be able to give away the entire Lifecycle Management app for people to test with. And if they don't have a valid license, it'll limit the number of configuration items that they can bring across. Wow, okay, this is not going to work for me. Oh dear. Demo gods are definitely not with me today. Let's try this again. Last chance. No. Potential. Oh, it's because I don't have access. Yeah, I don't have access to the internet from this machine. So that's the app. It does run through, and it does run entirely through, it brings that information across, gives us a log of everything that it's done so we can see exactly what it has and has not been able to bring over. If you'd like to see it in full action, please get in contact with me and we'll set up a demo at a time where my lab's actually functional. But we won't hang around on that too much longer. What we might be able to do is at the end of this, I might try and cycle back and do it in our online lab, and yeah, see how we go in there as well. Okay, so moving forward is a Cireson roadmap. What we've done in the past, in the past year, and what's coming up in the not too distant future. So here towards the end of 2016 here, you can see that we've now got our full SCSM 2016 compatibility for all our applications and is now available. So you can now safely install all of our apps on Service Manager 2016. We will have a password reset version 3 coming out this month, which will add the feature of registered questions and answers. I know that some customers have been waiting for that to come out. We also are going to be adding asset depreciation into the Cireson asset management piece there as well. And that's been one of the things that we've been asked for on the community. So we'll be adding that into the asset management product this quarter. As always, we're going to be continually looking at the community.cireson.com for those feature requests. And if anyone has any features they would like to vote on or anything like that, we encourage people to go there and have a look through what people are actually asking for on the products, as we take that very seriously and yeah, are moving those into our products as we need to. So the Cireson community is absolutely the place to be able to go to connect and collaborate with other people, Cireson customers, but also Cireson staff there as well. So we sit there and monitor that community. So if you do have any questions or ideas that you'd like to put forward, please do join the conversation at community.cireson.com so we can hear what's going on inside the community and we can respond to that and get it into our products to make our products better for you at the end of the day. So we've got some resources here from this webinar. The webinar recording is going to be found at vimeo.com/Team Cireson. There is also going to be some other information. There's a great blog on the Microsoft blogs about ECLs and what they do. So I encourage you, if you haven't looked and you wanted to know some more information about what entity change logs do, you can check that out there at bit.ly/ECL blog. As I said, join the Cireson community, also our Inc. 5000 listing. If you're interested in more of information around the Cireson platform, please visit us at cireson.com. You can also get Cireson support at support.cireson.com as well. Also, as always, Cireson is hiring, so please visit the website cireson.com/careers and let us know. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or even tidbits, please email us at team@cireson.com. We love to hear from people here as well. So, any questions that people have, please post them in the question and answer panel. What I'm going to do is jump out of here and see if I can jump through into our other lab and get this running inside there as well. I may get in trouble for doing this, but just don't tell the boss. As long as no one's recording this, we'll be fine. No, my RDP connection is not working. Our internet connection is definitely not working here today. It is not happy. So no, I apologise for that. So no, if you do want to organise a proper demo, a full demo, let me know and I'll find another time when I'm actually at a workstation that I can get access to the internet properly, and or hopefully Telstra have got the internet issues sorted out of why I can't RDP, and we'll go from there. So just having a look at some of... So question that's come through here, and it's a really good question. Thanks, Shane, for that. Can we use this application to copy from 2012 to 2012 environments? Absolutely, you can. So to go from dev to test and then to prod, or take a snapshot of prod back into test, absolutely, that can be done from 2012 to 2012, and also 2016 to 2016. So absolutely, that can be done. And it's a really, really good use of that lifecycle tool. So it's not purely a migration tool. Certainly don't think of it as a once-off tool that you would purchase, use once, and then put it in the cupboard and never use it again. It was originally designed, this app is originally designed for that lifecycle management. So the management of the lifecycle of what your service manager environment actually looks like. Any other thing? Have Cireson produced the cost of this application yet? Yes, we have. So licensing for this application is now available. If you contact your territory manager, your Cireson territory manager, we can organise quotes for partners or customers out there. So really good question there. Does the tool copy everything? There's another question here from Jason, thank you. Or are there some things other than DLLs that you would have to move manually? Great question, because yes, there are. There are some things that we don't copy in the current version, things like roles. So roles are not a part of, they're not held in management packs, they're again held in database. And just to get the product out of the door and functional, we've skipped over that one for now. So you would have to create new roles. You would also have to create new connectors. So just creating those connectors so they appear in there. And one of the lists, which is the incident tier queue, yeah, being that weird, being a Microsoft management pack that is holding one of the more important enumeration lists that exists inside your environment. If you tried to copy that over to 2016, it would be overwritten by the 2016 one, or it would crash as part of that. So we are looking at ways to be able to fix that going forward and in the subsequent releases. So keep your eye out on the release notes of new versions of the migration tool as they come out. Another one here, if you've put a custom tier QMP, will it override it? If you've got a custom tier Q management pack. So this is just trying to work out this question. If you've got a tier Q management pack that's not the Microsoft one, is that what you're saying, Shane? Yes, okay. So if you're going from 2012 to 2012, it will take that management pack over. If you're going from 2012 to 2016, it will not take that over. I hope that makes sense. Cool. Any other questions that people have? Please put them in the chat window. Connectors, will it bring them across? Service accounts. So no, so it won't bring the connectors across. The connectors will need to be set up again, and of course you'll need to enter the credentials for those service accounts. Missed the part about data warehouse manager. Were you saying that there is no longer a data warehouse role? No, there is a data warehouse role, absolutely. So for 2016, Service Manager 2016, there is absolutely a data warehouse, and Microsoft's reporting services and so forth, SQL Service reporting services, and SQL Server analysis services are still required to have a full data warehouse. What Cireson are doing are bringing out the ability to be able to, if you're using the Cireson portal, the ability to extend the service management database, which is part of our database for our portal, to be able to do some retention of data past a certain date, so you can then report directly on that database instead. It's a much flatter database, it's much faster. So for most customers, I would think that their reporting requirements are fairly light. They need to know, how many calls were logged, what categories, those kinds of key pieces of information, but not needing all the information that is retained inside the data warehouse. So the new data analytics tool that we're going to be bringing out might, for some customers, replace the need for even having a data warehouse. So it's not that Service Manager 2016 doesn't have that role. It's that bringing in the new Cireson Data Analytics product may remove your need for it, if there as well. Another question here is it possible to use this in an air-gapped environment? Yes, absolutely. There's solutions for that to be able to happen here as well. However, at the moment, yeah, I just don't have that air-gapped key here with me. I thought this was all going to work. My internet connection has just failed me miserably for, obviously some ports have been blocked. And I can't RDP out of this network, and I also can't get my licenses to validate, which is a total pain. Any other questions that we have? Please place them in the questions window. All right, there's no other questions that people have. You might call this a day. Oh, hang on, one more here. Is there any plans for the Lifecycle Management App to be available by the portal? So being able to actually invoke it from the Cireson portal. Yeah. No, there's no plans for that at this point, because, well, I guess I don't know why not, because just having a think about it, the main reason there would be the fact that this is actual hard code. This is .NET code that actually needs to run and have access to databases and a whole bunch of other things there as well. So being able to invoke code from a web portal is always a tricky one. So if you've ever tried to create or have a think about creating tasks like you would out of the console, being able to actually run executables or run code, the internet browsers are just not designed for that, or at least your security levels should be high enough that it wouldn't allow that, because if it did, you've probably got a few security holes inside your environment there as well. So no, this has always been designed to be an administration tool that you would run remotely on the actual management server itself. All right, so that's about it. I'll let anyone go that that doesn't have any more questions. If people do have more questions, I'll stick around for another 5 minutes or so, just in case you do need to ask some questions. But apart from that, thank you very much for attending here today. We'll have some more webinars coming up in the not too distant future, so please keep your eye out for those, and thank you for joining us here today.